5 to 8 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Hello there, you're welcome along. So it's Monday evening and we're busy this evening. Tonight we're going to bring you an in-depth interview with Joe Schmidt. He was in studio earlier on this afternoon in conversation with Ger Gilroy and Alan Quinlan. That is coming up between 8 and 9 o'clock, reflecting on, well, everything really, not least the past 12 months. Plus a busy Premier League weekend to get through as well. We have Dan McDonnell in studio. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Joe.
Gary Breen is with us at 7:30, and we have John Bruin with us on the football show between 9 and 10. 53106 is the text number. We are at off the ball on Twitter. Ann-Marie Donelan is also here. Hello, Anne-Marie.
Good evening, Joe.
How are we doing?
Good, thanks.
Many a Sunday I walk in, Anne-Marie's already hard on the bulletins, working, doing the heavy stuff, and now here we are of a Monday evening. Exciting times for everyone.
First time on air together.
You just stroll in late enough, do you, with a sort of a slight swagger, newspapers half read under your arm.
A little bit sometimes.
Asked if there's anything any good in
barking
them.
people around.
What's in the papers? What have you seen? Oh, good God.
Yeah.
That's generally the kind of tone.
First time on air. I hope it's not too intimidating to be done with Joe. You know, he's sort of.
It could be worse. I could be with Nathan.
Well, indeed.
I mean,
He's award-winning.
That's the mantra that everyone has to live by.
That's one of few.
Yeah.
Dan, can I put to you something I read in the Sunday papers yesterday? The aforementioned Sunday papers.
The half-read Sunday papers.
No, that's not fair, actually, and not true, as you well know.
I know, Joe, but I mean, that's why I said it.
So, Rafa Benitez, he's at this new club in China where he's getting paid just the 12 million sterling.
Dalian, can you pronounce it?
Yeah, Dalian, whichever.
Yeah.
City of 8 million people, whichever. 8 million people, Dalian. So he's getting paid 12 million sterling net per annum.
Net.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the tax situation is, but he's getting lots of money, basically. The kind of general tone of Rob Draper's piece in the Mail where he was saying, with apologies to Mrs. Merton, what attracted you to the position here? So Rafa did his best and talked about the project and how excited he was to coach and all that kind of business. But really, that was the situation. But the best part in it was, the way you would have looked at Newcastle and thought to yourself, I just think things weren't being well run there. The stuff wasn't being done properly there. So he tells Rob Draper a story about how the end really came about at Newcastle. And Newcastle fans listening to this will almost be thinking, my God, this is how the club is being run. So scroll back 5 months ago. The location, the communal dining area at JD offices in London.
So, Mike Ashley territory.
Yeah, Mike Ashley territory, yeah. Benitez is sitting opposite Ashley trying to negotiate his future at Newcastle. Naturally, it had been cleared of people for privacy. Then broad positions were outlined. Ashley wanted Benitez to stay for 8 years, interestingly, but he also wanted to sign 2 players that Benitez didn't want. Benitez felt he couldn't commit under those circumstances, so he offered to sign a 1-year extension. And he said he would leave the room while they discussed their response. So he went outside to a small room, he sat in a plastic chair. Eventually he was brought back in by Lee Charnley, who's Newcastle's chief executive. But the break in proceedings, says Rob Draper, meant that there was now some confusion over the status of the dining area. One member of staff had strolled in to heat up his lunch in the communal microwave. It was pointed out to the said member of staff that a meeting of some consequence was about to resume. The employee offered profuse apologies and insisted he would be a couple of minutes. But, more trouble, he couldn't work the microwave. It had a 4-minute setting, but his lunch required only 2 minutes. Eventually, Benitez interjected. You could put it on for 4 minutes and then stop the microwave after 2, he suggested. The employee agreed. It was a fine compromise.
Lovely story.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So this is what was happening as Benitez was
they're probably
exiting the club and your man was heating up heating up whatever.
Pressure there. Yeah.
What kind of microwave only has a 4-minute setting was another one of the questions we were wondering. I mean, generally 30-second increments is the way these things go, I would have thought.
It depends, I don't know.
What knockoff
I wouldn't want to speculate what Mike Ashley and how things operate in his world. I mean, really, has anyone listened to that story and got beyond the 12 million net part?
Well, no, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Rafa, in fairness to him, has always played a great game. He seems to be brilliant to deal with from a press perspective. And as a result, he probably isn't getting some of the grief for the China 12 million, give me loads of money deal that he's gone for, relative to, say, certain amount of derision that some players have gone there, have received, do you not think?
Yeah.
I mean, I looked up the other day looking up that team because Marek Hamsik, who's like Slovakia's best player, who left Napoli after 12 years. Now, in fairness, there's nothing mercenary about staying at a club for 12 years.
Yeah.
But he's obviously decided, I want to go and try a new culture, i.e., go to China.
Yeah.
And he's there. And Yannick Carrasco from Belgium, like one of the better Belgian players who was at Atletico Madrid, he's there. Salomon Rondon, very good Premier League striker there. And they're 10th.
Yeah.
They're just meandering along at 10th position in the Chinese Super League. Manager, does it even matter? Is that not just a bit? I mean, part of me is like, it's a short career, and I always never begrudge footballers who will be turfed out by the next club at any minute. But I sort of think with Rafa and his stock and his reputation and how he's perceived, it's sort of like if another manager had gone there, they would have been serious fun.
Right. Yeah.
Would he get away with it half as much if he hadn't left Newcastle and Ashley?
I know that's the thing, and he was wronged by Newcastle, and there's no doubt that he would like to have stayed with Newcastle if that was. I think he would have stayed with Newcastle if the operation was run a bit better and it was a bit tighter. But and in many respects, sometimes you sit back and go, well, I mean, really,
you
12 million, how the hell could you turn that down?
Yeah, but he gave the distinct sense in the piece that he'd be back. This is just a bit of a sabbatical. It's an easy 12 million or 24 million. They're spending huge money. They hired 24, I mean, I told you about this more on the football show even, but they hired 24, 25 Spanish FA coaches. They've built a 260 million euro training ground. They just have bottomless resources.
So much money.
And did he seem happy there in the piece?
Yeah, he was like throwing cash around the room.
He has multiple microwave functions.
This is 30 seconds, 1 minute, 4 minutes.
Full-time microwave operator hired.
He seemed very happy, actually. He's enjoying his life. Although the only thing is his wife has stayed on the Wirral in Liverpool.
But he always seems to have settled there. It's just, it is part of the deal. I think people get it, and I guess, he's a high-earning manager, and you got to look after yourself, and I get it. But I think he's very well regarded, I think, and he seems to deal very well with the English media and always has. And as a consequence, hasn't got some of the grief that I think other managers might have got for taking that deal.
Yeah, possibly so. And it was Rob Draper for the Mail on Sunday and Jonathan Northcroft for the Sunday Times, so I think they were flown over by the club, and it was that kind of deal. But anyway, we can get into that later on. I just wanted to tell the microwave story, that was
where... It was all about the microwave yarn.
Mike Ashley and Rafa Benitez were potentially mapping out the next 8 years at Newcastle. And then your man comes in his break.
Doors open.
I need
Was
the
there
microwave.
any reason given why the meeting was held there?
No.
Was it just pure convenience?
That's the key question, and that's the one I wanted answered in this 3,000 or 4,000
Let's say
words.
if you work for Mike Ashley, you come to Mike Ashley's domain.
But why is Mike Ashley having a meeting whereby it's interrupted by your man putting on his lunch?
It's a bit unfortunate. You would think there would be a higher quality of meeting room there.
With a couch.
Sort of reminds me of the Office episode where David Brent opens the door dramatically and says, "Get out," and the cleaner starts coming in with the Hoover. You can't avoid that.
But I just love that it was Benitez who had to solve the problem. That he could put it on for 4 minutes, but then stop the microwave on 2, which was a good solution.
But Benitez also telling the story as well.
He does come out of it well, but there you go. That's how things were being done at Newcastle. So we'll talk football show. John Bruin's in, Gary Breen's here at 7:30. He's a big Arsenal fan. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on there. And it seems Marco Silva's in big trouble as well. Lads, I'm supporting the Toffees 45 years. It was brutal this weekend. Surely the players have to take some of the blame. No leadership whatsoever, reckons Walkinstown Beckenbauer. We'll get Gary's thoughts on that. And then Poch in, Ollie out, and then the inverse about 8 times over yesterday was kind of the experience for Manchester United
as the game went on.
Yeah.
Change.
Oh, maybe he can stay. No, he's out.
Or he has to go.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these things, if you're debating it, isn't that half the problem, really?
Don't start me on microwaves, says Colin. Do I want full power, half power, defrost? Am I cooking a joint of meat? No, I just want to heat up my soup. Too many options. Spoil the broth, as they don't say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did start working with a new microwave recently. I mean, the more options you have, the more that can go wrong, definitely.
Finton says, lads, keep me entertained for the next while, please. I'm on a packed bus, steamed up windows. That just makes me motion sick already. It's
a horrible evening out there. I don't know where Finton is, but it's an absolutely appalling evening.
Yeah, it's the fogged up windows, steamed up windows. Lads, keep me entertained for the next while, please. I'm on a packed bus, steamed up windows, which gross me out. Oh, he even says that himself. Yeah, all of us out. There's just something horrific about them. There's screaming kids, and every second person is trying to cough up a lung. It's like Outbreak, starring Dustin Hoffman. Good man, Fintan. Well, we've got Gary Breen, 7:30. We've got Joe Schmidt between 8 and 9, and then football show as well.
He doesn't want to still be on the bus by 10 o'clock.
Give us a shout, Fintan, if you're still on the bus at 9. Even then, I'd feel sorry for him. I think that's plenty of time.
Just let us know he's okay, even if we don't hear from him.
Yeah. So, Anne-Marie, where are we starting?
Yeah, Sergio Aguero, Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola says it'll take a miracle for him to be fit for the Manchester derby, which is, of course, next month, Saturday, the 7th of December. The striker picked up a muscular injury in their 2-1 win over Chelsea at the weekend. Guardiola expects him to be out now for a few weeks. City, of course, face United in 2 weeks' time, as I said. Gabriel Jesus, though, says he's ready to step up in Aguero's absence.
I'm not happy because Sergio is injured, of course. I don't like when my friends is injured, but I have work every day hard, and of course I'm ready to play. I show every time in the training session because I want improve everything. So yeah, I'm ready.
I mean, he's not devastated either.
No, I don't think he's actually unhappy.
He's just not
really
happy.
At all.
Is his point?
I mean, it's one of these clips that privately in WhatsApp discussions with friends, he might be expressing slightly different views.
Because when Aguero went off at the weekend, Guardiola put his face into Aguero's face to ask him, how he was and what's the sense. And whatever Aguero said, Guardiola turned away and realised this isn't ideal.
Bad answer.
Yeah, bad answer. And interestingly, it was the first in 381 league games in Guardiola's managerial career, so league games excluding Champions League Cup competitions, but 380 league games across the Liga, Bundesliga and Premier League. The first time that he didn't have at least 50% possession, which was
and they still won.
Incredible. Yeah, I know. I mean, look, it's a
Some
silly
philosophy is going to change now.
Yeah.
Decided that's it.
What the difference is between 52% possession, which I'm sure he's had dozens of times, and 49 is...
I mean, he was delighted afterwards because the opposition played in a way, like he was very complimentary about Chelsea afterwards.
Yeah.
We still beat them, but like sort of respected their approach to proceedings, It's like Chelsea are sort of... Chelsea have sort of a likability about them still.
Oh, yeah.
Still sort of, which wasn't always there before, but now is sort of like Chelsea are playing. That'd be good.
It was never there before, really.
Yeah,
No.
it's a fresh likability.
There is, yeah.
You kind of find yourself liking them and then thinking, oh God, liking them, yeah.
It's Chelsea, but like they're all sort of young players, and Mason Mount, who don't have sort of free kick and nearly hit at the end,
And it's just so against the odds.
yeah, no, they're good to watch.
Yeah.
Sure, good to watch.
Kenny Cunningham was talking about the game this morning.
Yeah, speaking of that win over Chelsea, Kenny had warned that Jorginho is a liability defensively for Frank Lampard's side. As he said, he was on OTBAM this morning, and speaking to Ger, he felt that the Italian was at fault for both of those goals in their 2-1 loss.
When you play that system with one holding midfielder, when your fullbacks get driven on the inside and they force the winger onto the inside the pitch, your holding midfielder has to get across there and come into contact. And I can guarantee you 100%, Kante is playing that position Saturday when Mahrez cuts inside the Chelsea left back and gets his head up. He's not looking towards the goal, he's looking towards Kante, racing towards him, looking to make a tackle, or at worst force him across the pitch. And that's the problem with Chelsea are going to have going forward for me. Jorginho at the base of that midfield, great in possession, he can start off all the Chelsea attacks. Out of possession is an absolute liability, no fault of his own. He can't run, he can't tackle, can't track runners, and that for me was shown at the weekend. He was heavily involved in those 2 Manchester City goals, and it's going to come back and bite them time and time again. I don't think Chelsea can win a league title potentially going forward with at the base of that midfield. Kante's got to go in there. For me, you're talking about an excellent midfield three. An excellent midfield three, Chelsea midfield three for me, is Kante, the base of that midfield, and then you take your pick in front of that. Mount, Barkley, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek. They've got some great number 8s in the team who can get forward and get goals. But the fundamental problem for me for Chelsea going forward is always going to be the base of that midfield, how Lampard sees it. And the longer Jorginho spends there, when the big games come around, the games that really matter, he's going to be the weakness in that team and the base of that Chelsea midfield.
It's a similar conversation to last year, I suppose. And on Match of the Day, they picked out the same issues with Jorginho. He just can't run. I mean, it's not even that he doesn't necessarily see all the danger, he just actually can't cover the ground at the same pace as those around him. Such are the physical demands of the Premier League. It is interesting that Lampard has put him at the base of the midfield as well after Sarri last year. They do want him on the ball as much as possible.
Yeah.
But if he's that much of a liability, it ain't going to last.
I feel like, we want to be able to ask Kenny about this, because obviously there's a recurring theme in recent weeks where I think Kenny in his life has dealt with some very frustrating holding midfielders in front of his defence.
There's almost a psychological transference here. He's
still angry about some of the holding midfielders they placed who were good on the ball but didn't get around the pitch, ergo left him exposed. Yeah. To this attack, which left him as a victim in all these great goals that were scored in Premier League history. And maybe if he'd had a more efficient holding midfielder in front of him, Kenny wouldn't feature in all the clips of the greatest goals of all time. So Fabinho, he's moving on to Jorginho. But I think
he wasn't the only one on Jorginho's case this weekend.
His case is valid in this point, but I'd say he's always particularly has a certain eye for the holding midfielder, I would have thought.
We've heard from Fintan again. Now, I should be off the hell bus in the next 15 minutes. Good man, Fintan.
I want a driver change stuck in there along the way.
What could happen? Do I want a view so badly that I'll risk wiping the steamy windows with my sleeve, or will I need to bleach my jumper afterwards, wonders Fintan. There you go. Years ago, Scotty Brown was allegedly courted by Rangers in a car park while Celtic showed him the trophy room, gave him the big tour, etc. Is that connected to anything we were talking about?
Unlikely meetings. You met him in a kitchen, you met in a car park.
Yes. Okay, I'm with you now.
Unlikely places to have a work meeting of some description.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like showing a potential player, admittedly Scott Brown to Rangers would be a long shot, but showing in the trophy room isn't as odd as some lad interrupting the Rafa Benitez meeting to, I'm just going to use the mic.
No, but I think the point is, it'd want to be a really nice car to actually have the meeting in a car park to show what we're about. Let's just pull over into this lay-by over here and we'll give you the hard sell.
I misread that. Rangers had it in the car park. Celtic showed them the trophy room.
Yes.
Apologies, texter. Yeah. That's all on me.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm with you. Right, yeah. Car park versus trophy room.
Trophy room a bit more impressive.
Fair enough. I'm with you. Okay, where are we going next?
Tonight, Aston Villa host Newcastle. It'll be Steve Bruce's first time back at Villa Park since they sacked him back in October of 2018, just 4 months after he led them to the Championship playoff final. His relationship, of course, with Villa fans turned quite sour at the end of his tenure. One supporter throwing a cabbage at Bruce before his final game in charge. He described that period as one of the most unsavoury times of his career. And tonight, Kieran Clark starts for Newcastle and Republic of Ireland's Conor Hourihane starts for Villa.
We'll keep an eye on that game. Meanwhile, some news maybe on Caomhin Kelleher.
Yeah, Liverpool reportedly willing to send Irish keeper Caomhin Kelleher out on loan in January. The Republic of Ireland under-21 is currently third choice goalkeeper at Anfield. That's behind Alisson and Adrian. He played twice this season for the Reds in the Carabao Cup, and according to the Liverpool Echo today, Jurgen Klopp is eager to see him play more first-team football, so the club are set to loan him out to a Championship club in January, reportedly. Preston North End are believed to be interested, and such a move would see him join Ireland's Alan Brown and Shawnee Maguire.
That doesn't seem like the worst idea imaginable, Dan, on the presumption that he does get first team football.
Well, I think that was the sort of the Liverpool Echo seemed pretty confident about their information, but they suggested Liverpool want to be pretty confident he's going to play. Now, Preston are serious Championship promotion contenders this year. They're in and around the automatic promotion places now, so it would be great if their interest was genuine, but that they were planning to play him. And actually that would accelerate his education dramatically.
Yeah, well, he can sit in the bench at Liverpool. He doesn't need to sit in the bench at Preston.
No, and be thrown straight into the middle of it. It would certainly move him up the pecking order, probably with Ireland at senior level very quickly if he adapted to it, because Kieran O'Hara is in League One. He's the only other player around the squad at the moment, aside from Kieran Westwood. It seems to be sort of drifting.
And is the word on Kelleher that were he to go into the Preston team and play 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games and get a bit of a run, is he at such a stage of his development that already he'd be pushing Darren Randolph?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah. No. Now Randolph is clear number one, and I don't see that changing, but he puts him in a great position to become a comfortable number two by the summer, if there's something to look forward to in the summer, I guess. Maybe there's something. He does definitely like to play out with the ball from his feet, and you can see why maybe a longer term, if there's a change in style of play, why someone like that would suit it. But I think Randolph has been excellent, and I wouldn't be under threat at all really at the moment. No.
Yeah. Okay. Richie McCarthy.
Yeah, Limerick intercounty hurler Richard McCarthy announced today that he's retiring from John Kiley's senior panel. The 32-year-old defender made his senior debut back in 2011, picked up an All-Star then in 2013 as a full-back. He was part of the Limerick panel that won the All-Ireland in 2018, and he also leaves with 2 Munster medals and a National League title to his name. And as well as that, Galway goalkeeper Colm Callanan announced his retirement from the intercounty scene today. That's after 13 years with the Tribesmen. The Kinvara clubman made his debut back in 2007 when Ger Loughnane was manager. He was between the posts when Galway ended their 29-year wait for the All-Ireland. That was in 2017, and he played every minute of that season for Galway.
I once had a walking job interview, says Brian. We walked around the block for 15 minutes. I'm not in the best shape of my life. The combination of nerves and the high pace your man was setting made me sound like I was having an episode. Doesn't say if he got the job or not. Doesn't sound great.
Sounds like a sort of a House of Cards or something style recruitment
Be interesting
scene.
to know what the job was for.
It would. I mean, maybe it was involved walking. But it's hard to know.
A traffic warden, you know.
So I don't know if Brian got the job or not, but he struggled with the pace that was set by the interviewer.
Couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Bad sign in an interview.
Well, I mean, not if he doesn't need to walk, though, Anne-Marie.
Just in general. One's character.
You don't have to worry about eye contact
walking
if you're
speed.
walking alongside each other.
Well, that's true, yeah.
All this sort of, engage at the right time,
Yeah.
the right moment.
It does seem like an odd one, though. Walking. Walk with me, okay?
Yeah, it sounds like something. There is a Brentish aspect to that a bit too, to be fair.
Yeah, that employer definitely picked it up in like one of these like...
A manual, definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Did a course on
Firm handshake, walking interviews. So, final few stories.
Fionnuala McCormack of Kilcool is to lead the Irish team at the European Cross Country Championships in Lisbon. They take place on the 8th of December. It'll be the 35-year-old's 16th appearance at the championships, and her sister, interestingly enough, Una Britton, is to also represent Ireland at senior level alongside Ciara McGeehan as well. McCormack won her 9th national title yesterday. That was at the Cross Country Championships. She won the 8-kilometre race in a record time of 28 minutes and 41 seconds. And also as well in racing, jockey Donnacha O'Brien announced he's retiring from the saddle last night. That's following in the footsteps of his brother Joseph. The 21-year-old was the Irish flat racing champion jockey in 2018 and 19, and he says he's made the decision to focus on training next year.
And does he suffer with the same affliction, same as Joseph, in that he's not?
I think the feeling was that
tiny.
eventually that size was going to become a problem. But again, like, he's only 21. He's probably...
What age was Joseph when he retired?
Oh, God, he wasn't much older.
No.
And I mean, there was the talk of a flirtation with sort of becoming a jump jockey and so on. And that's because, you can be slightly heavier and survive in that sphere. But it does seem that... I mean, this is a dynasty here. So you now have Aidan and now 2 sons training. I mean, Joseph is now a massive sort of force, a massive influence in the training scene, both in jumps and flat. And now, I think Donnacha said in a statement he's going to start off with a small string, but it will be fascinating to see how it develops. And you're going to have this people who scan racing cards every day now. Like, you see AP O'Brien and you see J O'Brien, and now it means something. Now you're going to have the D O'Brien to throw into the mix as well.
When you say fascinating to see how it develops, I think would be...
I think the answer will be well,
just
yeah.
fine, yeah.
I mean, I'd like just to be able to retire from racing at 21. I mean, but someone retiring from their sport at a young age is generally a very sad story. There's generally a tale of heartache that accompanies it. This is it's a bit different in this family.
Yeah, it certainly would appear so. Screwfix, they're having their biggest ever Black Friday event. It's on from now until Monday the 2nd of December. They have loads of deals, including, Dan, a €55 saving on the DeWalt 18-volt brushless impact driver.
Can't underestimate the value of that.
Which is now €58.95.
We're into our DIY now, Joe. Yeah.
What is a DeWalt 18-volt brushless impact driver, would you say?
I haven't a notion, to be honest.
Would you even be able to guess, Anne-Marie, what area of DIY is it involved in?
I've no idea.
Describe it again there, sorry.
It's a DeWalt 18-volt brushless impact driver for €58.95, a saving of €55.
Brushless.
I feel like that'll be on the hotkeys that moment forever.
A voice in my head just said, it's a drill.
Not drill. What is it? A screwdriver. A screwdriver
fix,
drill.
yeah.
It's a screwdriver drill. Same
Yeah.
thing, says JP.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Wouldn't be a DIY.
Oh, you have to embrace it, Joe.
To celebrate all this, Dan, we're giving away a €300 Screwfix voucher every night this week to be with the chance of winning that €300 voucher this evening. Just identify our mystery voice, who is a massive fan of the Viking Splash Tours.
I was lucky enough to be on 3 tours and enjoyed every minute of it.
He loves them. That's as excited as he gets.
I was lucky enough to be on 3 tours and enjoyed every minute of it.
Text the word WIN, your name and answer, 53106 for 30 cents. We'll announce the winner later on the show. All with thanks to Screwfix's biggest ever Black Friday event. Order online down at screwfix.ie.
Yeah,
I can feel you're poised to come in. What are you going to say to me?
I just think that your mission by the end of this week is to do that read by sounding like you have a knowledge of what the product actually is.
I do.
No. Read it out. I want you to actually, by the week, Damien Delaney's probably here. I want you to turn to him and describe a feature or something.
I haven't gone a week without using my brushless impact driver. We've got Gary Breen next.
Off the ball on Newstalk.
This Irish success story is brought to you by Guaranteed Irish.
Did you know that all of the 34 million pots of Sudocrem sold in over 50 countries worldwide are manufactured by an Irish pharmaceutical company in Baldoyle? Trusted by mums, dads and beauty queens across the globe, while also supporting 51 Irish jobs.